Tom, I've got a quiz, but it's a bit too early, isn't it?
No,
But-
go for it.
No, okay, so, firstly, how many times does Die come up in Bond titles? Bearing in mind, this is the title of the song and not actually a film, so this one doesn't feature.
Oh, you're just talking about the actual title of the
The
film.
title of the film.
Well, Live and Let Die.
Die. 1,
Tomorrow Never Dies.
2,
Die Another Day.
3.
And then the new one has got Die in it, but I don't know what's...
Yeah.
What's the new one?
No Time to Die.
No Time to Die.
Yeah.
Is there any
Is that
more?
it? No, that's it.
That's
4.
it.
4, but it seems like more than that, but I think it's because of this fucking song. And
Well,
maybe
no,
some
but
other-
there's You Only Live Twice, which is like dying.
Yeah. So anyway, there's more. Out of Die, Live and Gold, which one is the most used word in
Die.
Bond? Yeah.
Die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
Die
one
is
is the
the-
second most used word?
Gold.
Correct. Along
Hey!
with Live.
Oh, the same.
Yeah. Both on 3.
I felt like I was going to have to moderate and not let this descend into a Bond cast. But I'm just breaking my own rules. And I was thinking we should have a safe word in case of unwarranted diversions into Bond.
Okay. And what's the safe word? Spectre.
We have to get into Bond because of the song. I mean, let's talk about the song. Jack White and Alicia Keys, who are the artists on this one, have really gone for it. They've gone
They
for
have.
that Barry sound, haven't they?
They have. I mean, I don't think you're allowed not to.
Well, I mean, all-time high.
There was some diversions in the 80s.
Yeah, all-time high was very different.
And to be honest, Living Daylights and View to a Kill are sort of kind of slight outliers in their synth pop kind of beauty.
Yeah.
But they normally go with the times, or they say that they try to sort of adapt with the times, and then they throw some Bond horns in, like
Nobody does it
80s
better.
ballad.
Nobody does it better. Doesn't go for the horns. I don't
No.
think.
No. Was it John Barry in being heavily involved?
He did do about 11 films where he actually did the whole score, and most of them will probably have. I think he was working on View to a Kill, and he was not very happy with Duran.
No. Well, View to a Kill was straight after
Spectre.
After Live and Let Die. No. Moonraker.
It's naming Bond films.
Shut up. Yeah, View to a Kill is the first Bond theme that really breaks with the Barry tradition fully.
Yeah, well, no, but what about Nobody Does It Better?
So basically, they came back around with David Arnold, didn't they?
Yeah, and he was a big Barry fan. He'd just done a Bond-themed album, and he showed it to this guy, and he's like, if John Barry ever quits, please think of me. And pretty soon after that happened, John Barry did quit. It's around the same time as that Propellerheads thing. Do you remember that? That was like a kind of dance version, big beat Bond kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, God, like the big beat scene probably had quite a lot to do with David Arnold getting back into Bond. Like,
Big Beat was like sampling all old kind of records, wasn't it? It was like
a lot of old soul.
breakbeat kind of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but in this kind of brash, kind of playful, stupid kind of way, like Fatboy Slim. Like,
I'm thinking of like Eurotrash. I'm thinking of The Big Breakfast. I'm thinking of this kind
Kitsch.
of kitsch. That's
Yeah.
the word. Kitschness was becoming very popular.
I was growing up in the 90s in Brighton.
Yeah, but you were like into fucking grunge and drum and
No,
bass.
only in the and I went to Big Beat Boutique.
Did you? You let your hair down.
Yeah, with old Fatboy Slim who's throwing out 7 inches into the crowd. So I'd already been through the grunge and then the drum bass and then, I could tolerate it at first, but after a couple of years, it was just like, this is just horrible, tasteless music. It's just it's pretty kitsch, like you say.
Oh, the build-ups, endless build-ups.
Sort of late 90s kind of where techno and dance just went like super mainstream, like huge mega raves.
It was fucking insane, wasn't it?
It was fucking insane, horrible. It was much better in the early 90s, man.
On the ring road.
On the ring road, waiting for that cool. This one, let's drill in.
Originally, they wanted Amy Winehouse to do it because she was like super hot at this time, and she's got that kind of 60s influence, and her producer would obviously be totally up for it, Mark Ronson.
Mark Ronson, yeah.
And so, yeah, they basically got to the point where David Arnold he says, I'd sketch an idea musically, and he didn't want to do the lyrics because he thought Amy's got to sing it, so it'd be a good idea for her to write it. So they had a meeting with Barbara Broccoli to discuss the theme and, you know, what they do. They're talking about what is happening in the film, and like he's getting his heart broken. This is Bond. He's getting his heart broken. He's realizing revenge is not going to fill the void. And Amy Winehouse is like furiously taking down notes while they're talking about it. And after the meeting, she leaves, and she leaves the notebook behind. And this is what Barbara Broccoli said. She said she picked up the notebook and looked at it, and it said, Blake, 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 Blake.
Blake, her man.
Her man, her lover.
Oh, yeah. Bad dude.
The bad influence that kind of got her into the hard stuff.
Yeah.
So they were kind of stuck, and they needed someone to come in quickly. Jack White comes in, and the way he tells it is that he kind of took the piss a bit. They were trying to get him to do a ballad. Jack White didn't want to go that route. He wanted to do his whole mix of Barry and fuzz guitar, basically. So he bullshitted about kind of upcoming schedules because they kept saying, no, we want it to be a bit more like this. And he was like, well, you know, this is what I've done, and I've got lots of stuff coming up, and you need this done, so what do you reckon? So basically he pushed it through by bullshitting about, like, he said that he didn't really have that much coming up. He just kind of said that he had loads of shit coming up.
Good for him.
Yeah,
You've got to fucking play these like moguls, these movie moguls. Yeah,
exactly. If they're coming at you desperately, like, oh, please, just get something done.
And so they were like, okay, but maybe we could put Alicia Keys on it.
I don't know. I couldn't find anything about
palatable.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything about getting Alicia Keys involved.
Got that kind of Jack White singing on it.
Oh,
it's a bit bluesy and monotone.
It's a bit screamy.
And it's a bit screechy and a bit sort of like over-affected. Like a bit too much affect. And it doesn't do anything for me at all.
No.
But that's just me. But like, fucking tons of people thought it was great. I don't know why. I really don't know why.
I don't know. I think he's still doing it. He's still doing it.
He's still doing it. Yeah, he's still doing it. To give it its due, Jack White was in the Detroit garage scene and kind of doing his thing and experimenting with like that squelchy guitar sound with vintage instruments and stuff.
I mean, I do like the sound of his guitar in this song.
Yeah, and it's I do like the sound of his guitar generally. I like
it. But
I don't think he does anything with it.
The actual sound in this song, like, is it like gated, like the fuzz? It's like it kind of comes in really quickly and then goes out really quickly. Do you know? It's like it's like it's really really fat, and it's really satisfying. It's a satisfying sound.
Yeah, he uses this sound on quite a few tracks, not all of them, but. Yeah, and I never saw him live, but people I know was like, "Oh, it's incredible," because he has this, like, plays the bass notes on his guitar at the same time by having his. He has a tone pedal, like a octave. I think that's what it is.
Well, he had to do a lot of work to kind of fill out the sound because they kind of sold it on the idea that it was a 2-piece. It was, you know, it was minimal. But he's trying to get the most out of that minimal arrangement.
Yeah. I was just like, well, it's just not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. And I don't think it was enough for him in the end.
But there are some like sort of good examples of where it works. Like Think I'll Smell a Rat, where he goes fucking crazy and he sort of like does Frank Black sort of impression, and there's gaps and he's just completely manic. But it's like he's not always at that place, and he's trying hard. And I was listening to an interview with him today, and he was just saying like how much work you sort of have to do to fill all these sort of bits when it's just a two-piece. And like you said, it's hard, and you can almost tell it was all about the presentation and the marketing.
He got his ideas through, and he did something a little bit different to what he'd done before by mixing it with the John Barry soundbox. And he does the quiet, loud dynamic, which I suppose he does in his music as well. That works within the bounds of the John Barry technique. So it works really. I mean,
and stabs, the horn stabs.
Yeah,
you can have a horn stab, then you have a guitar stab, then you have a vocal yelp stab.
Yeah,
and you just keep stabbing.
And I was thinking it was like, oh, this is quite a good idea, putting the fuzz guitar with the brass orchestration. But then I started listening to some of the other themes, and I mean, they've done that before. They did that towards the end of the 60s because the fuzz guitar was becoming popular. Yeah. And you've got Only Live Twice has the fuzz in it. Her Majesty's Secret Service has a fuzz in it. I think it may be an organ rather than a guitar. And The Man with the Golden Gun, the Lulu one, sounds like the blueprint of what Jack is trying to recreate.
Yeah, that's super fuzzy guitars, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's not new. What he's doing is not new at all.
Yeah. There's no melodies here. This is the problem. And the riff is nothing. It's just a basic blues riff. And then Alicia Keys just sings the sort of same thing over the top of what he's doing. In the
Well, yeah, I read something from the Huffington Post section called Black Voices, and they ask her, did you write the song? And she says, yes, myself and Jack. But Jack really took the lead on that, and it was kind of cool because I'm a big fan of his music and of the White Stripes. So it was cool to walk in and put my flavour on something he really vibed up. So she says that she helped write it, but then she doesn't get a songwriting credit.
Doesn't she?
No, he gets the only songwriting credit, and he played a lot of instruments on it. He played the guitars, he played the drums, and she didn't even play the piano on it, which is what she's known for. She's there, but she's not there. You can tell it's his songwriting, isn't it?
It is, totally. And can he write a duet? I mean, can he write two voices talking to each other?
They're not talking to each other.
They're not talking to each other. She's just doing a backing vocal. I'm actually not even sure this is a duet.
No, she does. She does verse. She does a verse. She does a verse, and she.
Okay.
No, but there is both of them singing their separate bits, but they're both singing from the same point of view. They're both narrators, basically. They're kind of just telling you what to expect from a Bond film. So in the verses, they introduce the characters. They talk about Bond first.
What do they say?
The lyrics are horrible. It's like, another blinger with the slick trigger finger for Her Majesty. Another one with the golden tongue poisoning your fantasy. So they're introducing Bond, right? Fine. Yeah. It's a Bond film.
In a cool way.
Yeah. And then another bill from a killer turned a thrill into a tragedy. So they're introducing the villain. So first verse, they've got Bond, they've got the villain. And then, this is like mad what they do in the chorus. He basically writes a action description, what you'd write in a screenplay, like real simple stuff. And so you have a door left open, a woman walking by, a drop in the water, a look in the eye, a phone on the table, a man on your side. It's just like, what?
What the fuck?
It's like a literal description of a scene.
Yeah, or just
that he's made up in his head, or he's watched the scene and thought, right, I'll use that.
Yeah. I mean, he's just doing this kind of like art weirdness, really, with Bond.
Not really. He's just doing the most basic thing you can do. It's like, what's happening? This is happening. Okay, I'll write that.
Exactly, yeah.
I'll describe the characters, and then I'll write what happens in the scene.
In the terms of like songwriting law, he's just sort of breaking it. That's what's art punk about it. It's not writing a song.
It's more like a treatment for a short film.
You just like bed that into the chorus. I didn't get as far as working out what the lyrics were.
You want me to sing it? A door left open, a woman walking by, a drop in the water, a look in the eye, a phone on the table, a man on the side, someone that you think you can trust. It's just another way to die. Down, 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 down.
Yeah, it's just another way to die. Okay, so I guess there is a closure to it. Which would be great. If that was the name of the film, then that would make sense.
Yes, well...
Lots of sense.
Well, that was something else that Simon Le Bon, had to say about it, was that he was happy to get a title like View to a Kill, which you can write, you can write a song based around that perfectly. Whereas you have words like quantum and solace, and it's like, a quote from Simon Le Bon, there's not a lot you can rhyme with solace. You've got lovely bollocks.
A bloke named Wallace, maybe. Quantum equally. Wanton.
And also the idea of quantum of solace. Can anyone get their head around that? I mean, Alicia Keys says, poetically, it's fantastic. But I think when you're actually trying to break it down, it might be one of those things you're not quite sure what it means. Quantum of solace? It's a dope title, but I have no idea what it means.
She's just being nice there. It doesn't make any sense.
The smallest amount of something, like a sliver of, or I don't know. That's why quantum physics is all about the tiniest particles.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Carry on. This sounds very interesting. Go on about
physics. Physics podcast.
What is this quantum physics stuff you talk of? It sounds very interesting.
But I mean, it is a very, a quantum of solace. To get your head around that and try and write a song about that is quite, that's tricky.
Tiny bit of solace.
Yeah.
I could take a tiny bit of solace from the fact that I killed all these people.
Yeah,
but they killed my family. So.
Or I get a tiny bit of solace from someone, maybe a Bond girl. She gives me a tiny bit of solace, but then I'm not around long enough to get any more solace because she dies, because I get her into trouble.
Yeah, and then I use her as a human shield. He just turns around and they get shot.
No, he gets. No, doesn't she get a knife in the back? Is it like he turns around and the knife goes into her back? That's a Sean Connery, definitely a Sean Connery movie.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't give a shit about his Bond girls.
That's Russia with Love, I think, actually. Yeah, I remember. Remember now, just investigating the Bond files, yeah. I think he does.
The Bond files, they've got to be open, spread all over the floor. Let's talk about Alicia's input into this, because there's a bit at the end where she just shouts out, "Shoot 'em up, bang, bang!"
Yeah.
Is that an ad-lib, or is it a reference to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang? Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, there's two things in there. There's him being a lover and him being violent. Whereas Shoot 'em up, Bang Bang is just the same thing. There's no like dichotomy there, is there?
It's like sort of Will.i.am school of just coming up with bullshit.
She does this, whoa, and then it turns into like this football chant section of the song where they're just like going, whoa, whoa, and it's fucking terrible.
And it doesn't connect with the rest of the so-called song.
No.
It's like, we better put a sort of, that's kind of a Bondy melody. Bondy, lovely.
And then she does put some sex into it when there's the guitar solo and her orgasming together.
Oh my God, that's terrible. That bit. He goes, she goes, ah!
Yeah. So is that Bond getting his end away? Surely, sex must have been somewhere in someone's thinking. Make it sexy. Bond's about sex and danger. So can't we have these two, she's the Bond girl, he's Bond, or something?
Yeah.
But no.
I just think they were grasping at straws. They needed star power to sell it.
She was big, massive star.
Yeah.
I mean, she'd had 3 number 1 singles to this point. She just released an album that was well received. I think all her music is well received. She's like a critical darling, isn't she?
She is, yeah. Grammys coming out of her ears.
Grammys all the time. And I've got a quote from Tom Corson, marketing executive at J Records. When Alicia puts out a song, it gets play on urban formats, on top 40, on adult contemporary. That's how she still sells tonnage when so many people are struggling. So they knew this as well. Whoever got Alicia involved were like, come on, she just sells. But she did have, in April of 2008, she had her bigger than Jesus moment. She was having an interview with Blender magazine, which was like a music magazine that's now defunct. And if you try to go to blender.com to find it, you just go to an actual Blender page with lots of lovely blenders. But she was quoted as saying, gangster rap was a ploy to convince black people to kill each other. Gangster rap didn't exist. So the interviewer's like, what? A ploy by whom? She looks at the interviewer and like the dumbest people in the world and says, the government. No. So she thought that... So it comes across in this interview that gangster rap was completely...
invented by the government.
Yeah, it wasn't a organically created art form. It was a it was a government scheme to get people to kill people, each other. As soon as that came out, she got a lot of people upset, and she had to come out with a pedal back and an apology, and she had to clarify her comments. Well, I imagine it was her record label that said, "Mate, what?"
Yeah.
So she said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I'm not a racist, and my comments about gangster rap were in no way trying to suggest that the government is responsible for creating this genre of rap music. The point that I was trying to make was the term was over-sloganized by some of the media, causing reactions that were not always positive.
Oh, well, that's a much better description.
The magazine doubled down and said, look, this is exactly what she said. You know, we didn't misunderstand it, we don't think. This is how it came across. So who knows? Maybe she was going down a rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. But did you know she was in a Bob Dylan song? Like she was name-checked in a Bob Dylan song.
No.
In 2006, Bob Dylan wrote a song called Thunder on the Mountain. And in the second verse, he sings, I was thinking about Alicia Keys, couldn't keep from crying, but she was born in Hell's Kitchen, I was living down the line. I'm wondering where in the world Alicia Keys could be. I've been looking for her even clear through Tennessee.
What? What?
She's a critical darling. She's a critical darling.
What is it? What is it people like? I just can't understand it. Like, there's nothing that leaps out. It like you say, it's sort of pleasant and
lyrically, it's like unchallenging.
It's unchallenging. It's like there's nothing exciting about it.
No.
So it must just affirm stuff, and that's the only. And there must be thousands of billions of people who want to be affirmed in that way, looking for Christianity. It's a theory.
I think she impresses people with her voice, with her piano playing.
Impressive.
Yeah, she's impressive. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Impressive. Maybe her voice is a bit rougher, like if you don't cover it in like treacle. But it's covered so much in treacle and all the edges are smoothed off that there's no way of getting into the sound of the voice at all.
It's like photoshopped sound.
Yeah, it's totally. I mean, maybe that's just the way she sings. And is that something that people thought, wow, it's a bit Fugees, isn't it? It's a bit...
I suppose she did take the kind of Lauryn Hill throne, didn't she?
Lauryn Hill, exactly. Yeah. Everyone who was into Lauryn Hill and
moved on to Alicia.
Yeah, and it'd been like, oh, Lauryn Hill hasn't been around for a while. Alicia Keys came up. It's like, oh, it's the next best thing. Yeah, we'll go for that.
Because Lauryn Hill was a lot more in your face lyrically.
Yeah. And she had a sort of more of an edge tonally as well. That had sort of a way in, like sort of cracks in the surface that you could get in through.
Yeah, and
whereas there's no cracks in the surface
sheened
at all.
over so much that the sheen is so thick that you can't get through.
Yeah, it's a thick, globby sort of varnish.
Yeah,
that you just can't even hardly see the crumbly bits of paint underneath it.
Almost feels like a kind of guilty white person's into soul music. Kind of like, oh yeah, I do like soul music. I like Alicia Keys. Do you know what I mean?
Like, which white people we're talking about? Are you talking about the outer reaches? You know, not the Basildon Bayou, but the the Surrey swamps. Yeah. Do you think those Surrey swamp dwellers and maybe some Mondeo men? Is that who you're talking about? Who go, oh yeah, I like a bit of soul, I like a bit of Alicia Keys. I think so. I think go right next to Keen on the car CD. Like,
yeah, she seems like a very car CD, like the kind of unsophisticated pop follower car CD changer. Yeah, Alicia Keys, Coldplay,
some Keen, and you might have some Fugees. You might have the original.
You might
Fugees
have
on
Fugees on there.
Yeah,
that'd be a little bit risque for the Ford Mondeo.
But you definitely have some.
You got some Chris Rea or Clapton on there.
Rea and Clap and Knopfler. Yeah, they're all on there. And a bit of Alicia Keys as well.
Yeah,
bit of Alicia.
throw in a bit of it.
Bit of Alicia. I like that. Yeah, because I like women and I like soul music and black people. Yeah, I do.
That's what we've been skirting around. That's what we've been skirting around for a long time.
Yeah. My daughter was in the car, put on some Alicia Keys. She liked it too. Yeah.
It's very kid friendly. She's a good role model.
She's a good Christian.
That's why she's
a good Christian.
That's why Tom Corson says she gets played on every kind of format.
Yeah.
It has to be counted in tons because she sells so much. Oh, I got a quiz for you. We've probably gone through this.
Is it Bondy?
Actually. Oh yeah, of course it is. So this was a Bond theme that was not named after the film, and there's 4 more. Can you name all 4?
Nobody does it better, Carly Simon.
Yeah. But although that does have "Spy Who Loved Me" in the lyrics,
the lyric, yeah.
But still, that's one.
Okay, and all-time high,
all-time worst.
best, all-time best, all-time high. Yeah, and 2 more. Mm-hmm. The Chris Cornell.
Yes, one, it was called "You Know My Name."
It's called "You Know My Name." Yeah. I was going to say that.
And there's one more. Sorry.
Damn it. One more, which is.
And these are in chronological order so far, so you've got to go past Casino Royale.
Okay, I can't think.
Spectre.
Yeah. Oh, Adele.
No, she did Skyfall, which was the name of the film.
Which was the name of the film, yeah. But Spectre was English modern Sam Smith.
So the name of the Sam Smith song is called Writings on the Wall. Okay. But the song for Spectre, what they wanted, Daniel Craig and Sam Mendes was the director of Spectre.
Yeah.
They approached Radiohead to do a song for Spectre.
I remember this.
Yeah,
they did one.
And they did one. But it cannot be nominated for a Grammy if it's been released already. And they released it on some live album, so it wasn't an original song. Like, how fucking,
fucking sad is that?
Kudos grabbing are they? Like, they have to get an award every single time.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't heard that one. Or maybe I have, but it didn't
I've not,
register.
No. I felt so sorry for Sam Smith in the documentary because it spent a lot of time on Sam Mendes and Daniel Craig saying, "Oh, yeah, but if only it could have been Radiohead."
Oh God! So made some weird choices with their tunes. The Bond lot.
Yeah, I would have thought
being so fucking great.
I suppose this is a conversation a lot of people have, but like the artists that could have done Bond, Bjork would have been amazing doing Bond, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, who else would have been really good?
Metallica would have done a good Bond.
Oh, Metallica would have been great! Fucking hell!
It would have been fucking incredible. Full Metallica.
It's still possible, right? I mean,
it's still possible. Yeah, it is.
Lou Reed doing Bond.
Not possible.
Not
Probably
possible.
good idea. How do we wrap this up? Hot air.
Hot air, and I think
With some good guitar sounds.
a bit of a whim, a bit of a whim for Jack White, and fair dues to him.
Yeah.
He took it by the scruff of the neck. He made it kind of sound like him, and he did what he wanted, and that's like probably quite hard for a Bond song. Have we had a soundtrack yet?
Yes, we have.
Oh yeah, we had
have.
Soul Man.
Soul Man, yeah. But that's a song already made, so it's... So yeah, this is a So I Called Zucchero First. A soundtrack for a movie.
Yeah. Well, no, it's
Yeah.
not, because we've got Soul Man.
Okay. An original soundtrack for a movie.
Ah.
So I Called Zucchero First.
One that's could be nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah. Was it?
Probably was, because I think every Bond film title is nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
And Alicia Keys was involved, so they probably thought, well, Grammy probably going to happen. But I don't think it won a Grammy.
It couldn't win a Grammy.
It didn't.
Good.
Next, we are going to go... Well, it's up to you. We go Alicia
Yeah.
or we go Jack White. Which way are we going to go?
This is interesting because of what you were saying earlier. Still, we're not sure how it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So 'cause I'm thinking 6 and you're thinking, well, you've got a 5 ready. So which way? I'm going to go Jack.
Jack's song that he did with Loretta Lynn called Portland, I think it's called.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to go that way. So we're
And
going
I
back to
saw,
country.
Fucking hey, we've got to go back there and fucking find the gold. 'Cause we didn't find it last time. We left with fucking copper. In the last round. Less
Tin.
than copper. Tin, yeah.
Yeah, or we can go deep. We can go deep into country if we go Loretta Lynn.
Dun, dun, dun. Is it in Goldfinger? No.
I can't remember the View to a Kill titles.
This never happened to the other guy. Is that just the dun, dun, what? Dropping all this like weird gas from the planes. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Lazenby breaks the fourth wall. Okay, that is in Goldfinger.
Spectre.
Anyway, Alicia Keys, like, obviously a fan of Gabs. Do you know why? Because she called her son Genesis.